if I can have your attention for 2 seconds and it makes you laugh, and then you can like it and maybe tag a friend and make them laugh, and that ripple effect goes like around the world, that's something that is way bigger than me, and I'm just grateful to be able to do that.
Hello, yogis, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Dharma Talk. I'm your host, Henry Winslow, and this is episode number 49. This week, I interview Pedro Luna, and although you may not know him by name, chances are if you've spent any time on the Instagram, you've most likely encountered him under his moniker, the globally recognized Instagram account @YogiMemes, which is just a hilarious account that drops all too relatable yoga jokes. And Pedro and I got connected because we were both watching the same live stream from Yoga East Austin, current sponsor of the show. And he was cracking some jokes, as he is wont to do, and I found them funny, so I sent him a message, and it turned out that we had all of these mutual connections. We had a lot of friends in common, and that turns out to be actually a point of conversation in our interview. Pedro tells us about how infusing lightness and humor into the online yoga conversation has actually led him to some of the more profound benefits of yoga, namely deep connection and community. We also talk about balancing professional duties with creative expression and striking the right balance between those two to create space for new rewarding opportunities. And finally, we talk about this idea of holding space and what that means in a group setting, individual setting, and how the path to healing others can be much simpler than we think. So all that is coming up very soon. Please stay tuned through these announcements, and we'll dive into my interview with Pedro Luna. This episode is brought to you in part by Yoga East Austin. I can't tell you all enough how much I'm looking forward to heading back to Austin for 5 days of Rocket Yoga with Rocket Trailblazer David Kyle. The host studio, Yoga East Austin, is tucked into Austin's hip east side, making it convenient for nearby Airbnb rentals, shops, and restaurants galore, all within walking distance of the yoga school. I lived close by during my time in Austin, and some of my favorite things I miss the most, which I'm sure you'll enjoy too, are trying out all the unassuming neighborhood taquerias, taking walks along the banks of Lake Austin, and of course, catching the sun and taking a dip at Barton Springs. Even though the training starts early and ends late each day, you'll still have time to enjoy the tacos and the Austin vibe because David encourages a full 2-hour lunch. I hear David himself is an amazing communicator and a fun and dynamic teacher who will keep us thoroughly entertained and engaged throughout the intensive. He's teaching all the classes himself with the assistance of my old buddy and local Ashtanga teacher, Hil Perez. As for the yoga space, Yoga East Austin's vibe is light and natural with floor-to-ceiling storefront windows that span the yoga room. We'll be flooded with natural light and surrounded by green plants and healing crystals. Each changing room is equipped with showers and all the amenities, and the staff is well prepared to make you feel totally at home. To learn more about Yoga East Austin and the Rocket Intensive from April 24th to 28th, be sure to check out yogaeastaustin.com/rocket. And for my New York yogis, I have several workshops coming up in the city this month that I hope that you can join me for. On March the 2nd, I'll be teaching a Sun Salutations workshop at Yoga Fitness Herald Square. On the weekend of March 23rd and 24th, I'm teaching back-to-back workshops at Yoga to the People, St. Mark's. Saturday, hips and twists. Sunday, back bending. And then on March 30th, also a Saturday, I'm teaching the locks and keys to arm balancing and floating at 3 Jewels. So if you'd like to sign up for those, please do so at henrywins.com/events. What's your purpose? What's your vision? What mark will you leave on this planet long after you're gone? I'm Henry Winslow, and you're listening to Dharma Talk, the only podcast where I interview inspirational yogis on how they're changing the world in their own Whether you're still searching for your purpose or already walking the path, I hope these stories get you excited to live your Dharma. Hello, Dharma Talk community, and welcome back to another episode. Today, I've got a special guest, Mr. Pedro Luna. Pedro is a South Florida-based yoga instructor, co-coordinator of the largest outdoor yoga event in South Florida, Yoga Fest FL, and the creator of the hilarious and globally recognized Instagram account at Yogi Memes. Ever since Pedro took his first yoga class, he knew he wanted to teach yoga and serve the world. His classes are geared toward all levels, as he believes yoga is for anyone and everyone. Pedro's mission in life is to share the gift of yoga with the world. Pedro, I'm pumped to have you on here. We were just talking before we turned on the mic about how funny it is the way that we connected, but you know, these serendipities just become more common the more you do yoga, I think. So yeah, let's dive into it. How are you doing today?
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I am doing fantastic. You know, it's a beautiful day. I live in South Florida, so it's sunny and warm. The rest of the country is like freezing in the USA. So I'm grateful to be here in the warmth, and I'm grateful to be here with you connecting. Totally serendipitous. It's like when you're on your path, the universe conspires to help you, and just like you are and I am, just trying to work it out and figure it out through this beautiful path of yoga, and how it's led us to this moment right here, right now is really amazing.
Awesome. Well said. And yes, it's freezing here in New York, but the universe has conspired to give me a blanket that I'm wrapped up in my little home studio, so it's all good.
That's wonderful.
We always start these conversations with the same first question, Pedro, so I'm going to give you a chance to answer that. The question is this: what does the word Dharma mean to you, and what is your Dharma as you understand it today?
So I would say that Dharma means to me is purpose, and my Dharma in this moment is to share the gift of yoga with the world. And that's not just asana practice, you know. Obviously, I have this Yogi Memes account that I'm sure we'll dive into, but to really just spread love and light to each and every person that I can through the globe. So that's my mission right now. That's what I'm working on, and it's going well. It's going good.
Yeah. And you know, a nice thing about technology and social media is it makes it a lot easier to have global reach with your actions, for better or worse. Yeah, let's talk about Yogi Memes. Like, where did the idea for that come from? And for the listeners who may not have been exposed to it, what is it? What are you doing with that?
Sure. So the idea behind Yogi Memes, it started actually in a Bikram yoga class. And it was in Delray Beach down here in South Florida. My friend and I had been sending memes to each other for quite a while, just about yoga stuff, funny stuff about yoga. And I was in, obviously you can relate because you're in the hot yoga community. So I was in somewhere in the spine strengthening series, and I just remember looking in the side mirror, and I was totally done, like beyond exhausted for whatever reason that day. I was done. And I said to myself, this would be like a really funny meme of myself here in this room to do that. And after class, my friend who created a lot of memes with me, we happened to be practicing next to each other that day. And I said to him, hey, we should make a funny meme account about yoga stuff. And he's like, oh, that sounds cool. Let's do that. Yeah, but they weren't doing it. They weren't really enthusiastic about it. And I was like, well, this would be a great way to spread like humor throughout the yoga community. No one's really doing this kind of thing. So let's just make like light, humorous jokes about yoga that people can relate to, and see where it goes. And that's what it's been. And it's been like 3.5 years later, making these funny memes about yoga and spirituality on the internet. And it's been a really cool ride, and it's connected me with so many people, including yourself here in this moment. And it's been really powerful, and it's really fun. Just bringing light and laughter and love to the community has been super fun.
You know what's really cool about that is, you know, people tend to take yoga very seriously, and to bring light to it, bring levity to it, and have some fun around it, one doesn't need to diminish from the like very real benefit of practicing yoga. as you can already tell, I mean, you've already made all these connections through something that's like more surface level and fun, which is the deeper, more profound effect of the practice, right? Is to like have unity and connection to people. So it's interesting the way that, like, ironically, it takes you deeper into the practice.
Absolutely. The way you said that and articulated that was really beautiful. And I really feel that, like, in my heart. It's like, if I can provide a little bit of a smile, on Instagram, when you're scrolling through your phone, you have like the attention for 2 seconds. So if I can have your attention for 2 seconds and it makes you laugh, and then you can like it and maybe tag a friend and make them laugh, and that ripple effect goes like around the world, that's something that is way bigger than me, and that it's like really amazing. And I'm just grateful to be able to do that when I wake up, and it comes naturally. Like, it's not forced, or else it'd be like work. Like, all of those memes and all the content I create. I mean, I did this right before I got on the phone with you. I looked at a picture that someone had posted, and I was like, I have like my brain just like spits them out, and then I can just create it really fast, and I just save it for later and post it later. So yeah.
I'm sure your brain like thinks in meme format now.
It is. I've conditioned myself to think that way. It's so weird. I can't explain it. I can't.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, I'm sure, like, you wouldn't be able to create this sort of content and have it be relatable and funny if the content wasn't fueled by your own practice. So there's kind of like a natural check and balance in there to keep it real.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, if you're not practicing, like for me, if I'm not practicing yoga, like you can't create that stuff because you're not in the space to do it. Yeah. And if you're not practicing yoga and you're looking at the memes, like you might not get all of them or any of them, unless you're, again, in the space to like digest it and be like, oh, like I 100% can relate to that or get that.
Yeah. It's for the yogis by the yogis.
Yeah. Yes. I love that.
So tell me a little bit about, okay, first of all, there are a lot of directions we could go with this. I think it's would be one interesting thing to hear about how the whole platform has changed. Because when you started doing this, you were probably one of the first yoga, like, humor accounts. Now there are tons of them. Yeah. So you've inspired a lot of people to further that, like, kind of light conversation, which is great. But more than that, I'm interested in hearing, like, how creating this account affected your practice and your teaching. Were you a teacher before you started the profile?
Yes. So I started teaching. I went to Bikram training in 2012, in the fall of 2012. I started the meme account in August of 2015, so a few years later. But during that time frame in between the two, when I was already teaching, I started teaching right when I got back from training. My friend and I would send, like I said, we would send memes to each other about it. So it was, I was already in the space of creating funny content. And in my teaching style, like, this is just who I am. So when I teach yoga, yes, there's like there's an element of like intention and, let's call it, seriousness to the practice, but there's an element of lightness that comes along with my classes and stuff when I teach, because I don't try to be anybody that I'm not. Like, the person that I'm talking to today on the podcast is the same person that you would meet in the coffee shop, at your kid's school, wherever. I'm the same person,
Yeah. And the Bikram class is a beginner class, it's available to everyone.
Yeah.
It's been tried and true for all body types, all ages. Bikram always says,
absolutely,
like, never too old, never too sick, all that. So I think that fits nicely with your mission of making it accessible to all.
It does. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm kind of going through that now, because, like, in my personal practice, I have 3 kids, so I'm home practice a lot. I'm like 90% home practice, and being able to commit and dedicate to that is challenging when there's so many other things as an entrepreneur and a parent and, as a human, that you can be doing with your time. So it's like really making the time and the commitments for that. So I think a lot of the memes that I've created lately, and it kind of like goes along with it, that page kind of evolved with me, as far as like going through teaching and going through different parts of life. It's just I'm sharing whatever's going on in my life that I can relate to within the yoga space onto the page and then out to the universe, and like more people just keep relating, just relating and relating and relating. And it has been really cool to inspire other accounts to make light on yoga kind of content. It's been fun to see them come and they message me and I interact with them and I'll share their content too. And it's been really cool. I've made some really good friends by doing that, by doing this account. Really good friends around the globe. Really good.
I'm sure. I mean, I've definitely experienced some of that, and I don't have nearly the reach that you do with something that's had like such a viral explosion. So I can only imagine, you know, all of the connections you've made. Has that played a role in what other projects you've taken on, like the South Florida Festival?
Not yet. So I would say that it's very interesting. I just had a conversation with a friend about this, that even if you have 100,000, 500,000, whatever it is, followers on an internet platform, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Obviously, we're talking about Instagram specific in this moment. It doesn't always translate, and you might be able to relate to this as well. Of course, it doesn't really translate to people coming to like your workshop or your event because it's really a global platform. So it really is challenging to get people to come to, like, let's say a local event. It has had some influence, but not like a major impact. I mean, I'm all the way down in the peninsula of the USA, all the way on the bottom. You know, I'm way down here. But I do have a good reach in my area, and I'm trying to now build a list, an email list and a website and that kind of thing. You know, build a business around it that people that would like to receive my content off of Instagram. And those are the people that are, you know, more committed to Pedro Luna as opposed to like the funny stuff on the internet. Like they're really interested in like, what other projects do you have going on? So it's starting to fuel those, but it's taken some time for sure. It's taken some time. Yeah.
I guess that's sort of that's the give and take with creating something that's so relatable and universal that it doesn't actually include a personal brand element to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what it is. It's like when you're as an entrepreneur and someone that's, you know, working in a business mindset, it's like you have to sell brand. And with Yogi Memes, I'm just giving value. Like it's just give all the time. And then the brand and, you know, all the, you know, everything that comes back to me, like, let's call it karma, is coming back to me just by just being myself. It's all coming back now with really cool stuff. And I'm hopeful that in these next, you know, years to come or months, whatever it might be, would be events around the globe or something like that, but more like digital stuff, because the digital things, you can reach more people because you're on the internet. I mean, the internet age is amazing. You can do anything on the internet, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Has getting into Yogi Memes and expanding it beyond your initial tight group of, it was basically like Bikram jokes at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I could tell, like, before I talked to you and knew who was behind the account, I was like, this person's got to be like a Bikram teacher or a Bikram practitioner at least. But has trying to expand the reach of that and be applicable to more people and accessible more globally introduced you to other styles of yoga?
Absolutely. So when I originally started the account, I was teaching vinyasa very little. I had just done a training to teach vinyasa. So I was only teaching it very little. So now the studio that I was teaching at for Bikram closed down locally to me. So I'm not teaching Bikram in this moment. So I don't really practice in that space. So a lot of the content I create is more around, you know, like the next phases. And I did a yin training and then I can relate more to like the yin jokes, you know, let's call it frog pose jokes. Because there's a lot of those ones, you know, or vinyasa, you can relate to Navasana jokes, you know, things like that I wouldn't have been able to relate to when I first started the account. Like I wouldn't know what was going on with that. So it's really helped because there's way more having a more expansive, let's call it a bigger palette of yoga knowledge. And I've wanted to grow as a teacher as well. So I've really went all in on myself as a yoga teacher, wanting to explore and gain more knowledge. And that's just helped me to create more relatable content as well. So yeah, I would say for sure it's helped me out. Absolutely.
I love rehashing all the ways that, and confirming with you, like the ways that something that seems so innocuous or even like superficial can actually really promote deeper learning and self-study. So it's cool to hear that, it motivated you to even go into another teacher training or at least play a role in some extent. Absolutely. It definitely played a role, 100%. And some people will send me
people send me content and memes all the time, and like things that they think are funny, which sometimes are funny, sometimes are not funny. I don't even understand them, like what the point, like what they were trying to say. But it's sparked interest in me. Like we were talking about last night on a show that I've created on Instagram with my friend. We do this yogi show, like a live, kind of like a comedy yoga show thing that we started doing on Tuesday nights on my Instagram platform. And he was talking about quantum jump meditations. I have never really heard about what that is. So it just now I'm
what
like,
is that?
I want to know. I don't know. Like he was talking about it a little bit, and it's basically like going through your day, like visualizing your whole day ahead of you without actually doing it, and just seeing everything that you want to do, and like what would make you in the happiest. Like how would you bring all that joy into your life? Like forecasting it, seeing your future self, like way ahead in time. And I don't know, it was like mind blowing. So now, like today, I wrote it down on my list. Like I need to research this because there's got to be cool stuff in here. So it's just another thing on the path of like, I need to learn more about that. You know, what is that?
You're like, I got to research this because there could be good humor content in here. Also, maybe I want to visualize a perfect day for myself.
That's so good. That's so true. Exactly what you just said. And that's how organic memes happen. What you just said creates organic content that can be viral content. And it can be real. Like that's just my brain says that kind of stuff.
What's going on with this show? What do you guys do each
so
Tuesday night?
So it's kind of like let's call it like an interactive show. So on Instagram Live, you can do it where it's split screen. Have you ever seen that before?
I think I saw when Instagram like pushed out that you could do that, but I don't know if I've seen anybody actually use it. Yeah. So many people aren't using it yet. Like you'll see somebody hop on Instagram Live and like they're talking for like 2 minutes and you're like, okay, where's this going? Like that's often what happens. Or not even 2 minutes. You get like 20 seconds and they're talking and you're like, okay, like I got to keep going with my day. Yeah. So we started like an actual show where it's 30 minutes and there's like a theme of the week. Like yesterday's theme was like True Life, I'm Grateful AF. And we were just talking about gratitude and things that go on in the yoga space and people that want to connect with us. And it's like an interactive show. So people are commenting in like whatever they're going through. And then we talk about it on the show. So it's kind of like, let's just call it like it'd be like a podcast theme, but it's interactive with an actual audience through their texting in, they're writing in the comment box. So it's been really fun. We've done it for I think we've had like 8 episodes or something like that. Every Tuesday night we do it. And it's been really fun. We get a small audience, let's say like 20 or 30, last like 30 people stayed on like the whole 30 minutes. So that's a long time. If I can have someone's attention for 30 straight minutes, like no commercials, like 30 minutes. Yeah. And we do like a fun giveaway, and then we'll make a meme together with the audience. Like we'll put up a picture and you can make a meme. And I don't know, it's just like something really fun and unique and organic that we're just creating, and we're just going to see where it goes. We're not making any money. Like we're doing it because we love it. Like we just want to have a community. And so that's what we're doing, Right on. Yeah, it's been fun. Is your Yogi Memes business monetized in any way?
Yeah, so some companies will reach out to do like giveaways. So I have a really good audience. So the audience that I have is really they believe in what I tell them. So I'm not going to sell any crap on my platform ever. So if I have some company that reaches out like, hey, I want to promote my yoga mats, let's say for an example, like we can do like a giveaway where we give away yoga mats, and one of the rules is that my followers have to go follow that page. You've seen this before. Yeah. They got to go over there and follow them, and then maybe there's like a discount code at the end that they can have to purchase if they didn't win, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I'll always have the company send me the product, and if it's something cool, I'll marry a giveaway, put it on my page, and then voila, we got a deal. So yeah, I do that sometimes, but not as much as you see some that are running ads after ads. Like I'm not interested in any of that. I'm long-term vision for that page is just to keep it organic, keep it light, keep it real, and the products that I tell you about are going to be real. And so yeah, there's a little money that comes with it, but that's not my main source of income. No, definitely not.
Do you keep a day job apart from your teaching?
Um, so I do social media work for actually a yoga company. Everything I do is like kind of in that yoga space because that's like what I
That's
know,
great.
and it doesn't feel like actual work. So, well, I mean, it's work for sure, but not like crazy hard. Something I don't want to be doing. It's stuff I want to be doing and people I want to be connecting with because it's
Right.
all in the same kind of umbrella.
Yeah, it's not soul sucking
So
work,
yeah,
but
so
it's
I
work. Yeah.
no, God, I already did the soul sucking stuff. I'm
Yeah.
over that, I'm done with that stuff. So I run a little social media for a yoga company. I do their stuff, a lot of things for them. And then I have, my teaching, and then I try to do like, local events. Trying to get a retreat together right now that I'm working on. And then that's it, man. Outside of that, I've got 3 kids. Like my time is like wrapped up in dad life, like
Hmm.
a lot.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
of dad life, which is great though, which is really wonderful.
Well, I think it's great that you don't have to put financial pressure on yourself with regard to something that's like creating a lot of joy for yourself, because that puts the joy a little bit
Yeah,
in danger sometimes.
totally, totally. Like, and that's got to stay like protected. And there was a moment where I thought about doing that, like making yogi memes, like something I really wanted to monetize consistently. But then it turns into like a full-time work thing, and there's a lot of pressure involved, like you said.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't interested. Like that's my creative like like you when you do art or your practice or something, like that's a creative outlet. Like this is my creative outlet. And I'd like to keep it that way as much as possible and allow anything that comes organically from that just to happen.
Yeah. Tell me about that process. Like what happened there that made you like reconsider the way that you were doing things?
It was more of like this feels forced. And when something starts to feel forced, like I immediately put resistance to it. And then there comes that moment of like, well, I need to make, because I had just kind of let go of another little side hustle business I was doing. I was like, I don't really want to do that anymore. I'm going to let that go and put my energy back into like more yoga things.
Hmm.
And it was literally that day when I was going to go, or like that week, I was like trying to feel this shift in energy to put more time and try to monetize it. And I was like, I'm trying. And like, that's not good. That's not good for me. I need to let it happen. And then all of a sudden, a new opportunity came in with a social media client that I work for. And it just like perfect. Like that's where I want to be putting my work energy. I'll keep my creative energy over here.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes back to that point you made earlier about like the universe conspiring to make things work out
Yes.
nicely.
I can't even tell you. So this is exactly what happened. So my son is 22 months old now almost, and he was 18 months this is 5 months ago. And I had to make a decision. Like I need, like with an 18-month-old, like there's no chance of you working from home. There's like zero chance because they're trying to do everything. They're trying to terrorize everything. So as a stay-at-home parent, I was like, I need to like he needs to go to school for a certain amount of hours every day or a daycare center so that I can actually work, or else like I'm gonna go crazy and like we gotta pay for stuff around this house. And that day I sent him to school, and I got on the phone with my friend Ellie, and we made a deal, and now I work for her. And it was literally the day that I let go of like I'm not going to try to figure it out. I'm just going to put it out to the universe, and it's all going to work out. And it worked out, man, just like that.
And this was right after you let go of some side hustle that you weren't into anymore.
Yeah, it was. I let go of it the month before. I had this month of like leeway of I'm going to put all my energy into yogi memes and do this thing. And then I was like, no, I can't do that. And then that day I sent my kid to school, like it all happened. It all happened just like that.
I feel like there's a lesson right in there too. I mean, I can relate to that too with, when I was feeling, after you practice yoga for a long time, I think a lot of people have experienced this. It becomes very difficult to suffer the bullshit and lie to yourself about doing something you don't like doing, you know? But there's still, for people who want to hedge their risk, like, it's like, oh, I'm not ready to take this leap. But yes, you have to calculate your risk. Yes, you shouldn't do anything that's like too dramatic or, throw caution to the wind, but creating space for some new blessing to come through is really important, because if you're totally locked up with all the things that you're doing, you can't even recognize the opportunities that are there.
Exactly. I say it like that all the time. Maybe in a different wording, but the exact same message, that if you're so wrapped up in something you don't want to be doing from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., you don't have any energy or creative space to like find something you do want to be doing once you get off work and go home. It's like you can't have a full-time job and then go look for another full-time job. Like, it doesn't work like that. So I just cut the shit, let it go, and then the new things just roll right in, But you have to have the space for it. You got to have it.
It takes some guts sometimes.
Yeah.
To take that leap.
It definitely takes some trusting in the universe, for sure, that it's going to serve up what you've been working on. And it will, though, as long as you put it out there and have the right intentions and doing things for the right reason. My opinion is that it is all going to work out. Yeah. It is all going to work out.
Yeah. So you mentioned a little earlier that you're doing a lot of your practice at home.
Yeah.
What does your practice look like these days? I know that you started with a background in Bikram, but I'm sure you've expanded and rerouted along the way.
Absolutely. Definitely rerouted. Now it's more of let's call it just like a basic, like a hatha vinyasa practice, when it's a little bit more, let's say it's a pumped up day, a little more intensity. But I really enjoy the calm, the tranquility of yin, and slowing down, because my life, I feel as if, is really busy all the time, like most people, right? Everyone's always so busy. So it's very, very, very busy. So I don't need to make it any faster. Speeding up my vinyasa practice, I need to do more of the centering and slowing down. And so in these moments, in these days, it's more of that, not because I'm tired, but because it's more of what I need, to slow down and get it together. So more of that in these moments. I've been, I started a YouTube channel just to see kind of like how I like doing that, teaching in front of a camera and like doing my own little practices, doing like that. And it's been good. I've enjoyed doing that. And I enjoy to practice with like, have you ever practiced yoga with Adriene? Have you ever seen that her on YouTube before?
I have not practiced her videos, but I'm familiar. Yeah.
Yes. So, I've done, some of a bunch of her content. It's like 20, 30-minute snippets. And sometimes that's all I got. That's the only time I have. And so I enjoy doing it with a teacher or someone that's holding space for you to practice, so you don't have to think about, what pose should I do next, A lot of it's just organic movements, and then, more organic movements, just letting everything kind of go however my body feels that day. That's the key. Tuning in.
I'm so with you on being told what to do. As like a yoga teacher, of course you have the ability to direct your own practice and do your home practice without someone watching you or supervising. But sometimes that's what you need, is to get out of like the fluctuation of your mind, is to have someone tell you what to do with your physical body.
Maybe physically, maybe you did a little bit of inner work and grounding, but like you need to move your physical body and not just lay there. And I've had that tendency before. I'm sure I've made memes about that, for sure, 100%, because that was me. I was the meme,
Where home practice is 90% Shavasana?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. But yeah, I like being like sometimes that directive and that accountability that someone, even if the person is in the room teaching you, like you put on this program that you wanted to practice, so do it, just do it.
And has this like diversity of style of yoga that you've started to practice online and with other teachers, has that come into play with your teaching?
Yeah, for sure. I would say so when I'm teaching class, I like to share the messages that I'm receiving and the things that I'm practicing is what I like to share with my classes, because it's relatable. I only teach 2 public classes a week right now. So it's come up with all these different flows and all this stuff, It's the same kind of group of people that have been coming for a long time. They know me very well. I know them very well. So I know what they can relate to, and I know the messages that I want to share. So as I've gone through my yoga journey, just as if they have, I'm leading them with messages and flows and poses that are relatable not only to me, but I know that are relatable to them, and holding space for them is the major key. So my practice and my teaching has definitely transformed, multiple times and evolved in the last 6 years or so since it started, for sure.
Right. A lot of the time when the crux of our message changes, or anything that we're trying to share with other people changes, it's inspired by some sort of conflict and transformation that came out of it. Can you think of a time where you really struggled either with one of your businesses, with Yogi Memes, or with your practice? And what did you do to get through that and come out stronger on the other side?
Wow. So I moved down to Florida 4.5 years ago or so now. And I lived down here for 4 months or 5 months. And I was trying to I had never really done vinyasa, and I was doing Pincha Mayurasana in class. And I had no business doing Pincha, zero. I'm coming from Bikram. We don't do anything on our forearms in the regular Bikram class, zero. So I'm trying to kick up into Pincha, and I hurt myself. I don't know what I tore, something in my oblique or my lat, just no good. In my shoulder, my neck got all messed up. And for the next, honestly, it was 2 years. I never went to the doctor, a hard head. Should have went. But for 2 years, it hurt a lot all the time. And I was really been limited on my right side since. But in those moments when I still wanted to practice the physical part of yoga, but my body was you need to slow down and stop, I learned a lot about modifications, and that it doesn't have to look like it does in Yoga Journal or on Instagram or wherever to feel good, to make yourself feel good. Give yourself permission to heal, slow down, and take your time and be patient with yourself. And then when your body is a little bit better, you can persevere and work back up to get the strength. And I think it really humbled me and taught me patience, and that life happens for a reason. And yeah, it sucked a lot, and I still feel the effects of it sometimes. All in all, in the end game, it taught me to really just honor the practice as it is, for what it is. And it doesn't have to be so rigorous. It can be a little bit slower. That's what it's taught me. Life taught me that, Life taught me that. It was no fun though.
That's the wounded healer, right? It's you have to be able to experience. Well, you don't have to, but sometimes it's helpful to have experienced the same pain or form of suffering that is experienced by the people that you're trying to help, and to have no connection to that makes it really difficult to come from a place of credibility when sharing and giving people solutions.
Absolutely, because you can't relate. I think about this when I was dealing with I went through this bout of anxiety and panic attack. I never experienced that before, and I was trying to get my mom to help me get my shit together, but she had never dealt with that before, so it was challenging for her to hold space to tell me what to do or who to see, kind of thing, because she didn't know any better, and I can't be mad at her for that. How do you know unless you know? So I don't know. I remember that feeling that she kind of felt a little bit helpless in the moment of not being able to, help me, but she was just doing the best she could. So when I have students that come to me with a certain injury or something that I can't relate to, I just do my best to hold the space for them, and give them the best advice or guidance that I can. But in reality, it's I can't relate directly to that, but there are many things we can relate directly to about. But if you can't, just holding space best you can to try to, help them heal themselves ultimately.
Yeah. And what does that mean to you to hold space?
So for me, it's just allowing someone the opportunity to do the inner work by you maybe guiding them or just simply being with them. That's what it means for me, holding space. I teach a large class on Sundays with live music here locally in town, and there's a big community of people that come. And when I teach, it's holding space in the room, right? They know that they are in a safe place, that they're going to be led through, let's say, a safe practice. They know that they're going to get consistency, and that they can do the inner work and kind of shut off, whatever all the outside noise is, and tap in and tune in to their inner voice and kind of do that inner work that needs to be done to help heal themselves.
Yeah, and to hold space in a large group, I think is, a totally different challenge from holding space or being a good listener to someone one-on-one. It's like both
Way
are very
different.
important and can help in very powerful but different ways. But yeah, that's a skill set unto itself.
Absolutely. And I hadn't taught a lot of private yoga in my yoga teaching journey, but I recently I have a private client that I teach now, and teaching one-on-one with him, he has never really practiced yoga before in his life, but always been an A-type, and teaching yoga to a group of, let's say 95 people like I had on Sunday, totally different experience, but that person is still trying to have the same effect of allowing themselves the opportunity to do the inner work within the yoga thing. So I love the way that you said it, and it really does make sense. It is really different. It's so different.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not even teaching yoga. It's just like being a good, like, supportive listener to someone. Being present for someone else's pain, someone else's suffering.
Yeah. Yep. I can relate on many levels, just like you can. My wife is a little bit under the weather, and I was just sitting on the couch last night just holding her. Like that was it. Like she was just resting. That was holding space, a powerful moment for us, for sure.
Yep, exactly right. Yeah, and not trying to like fix it or impose some sort of like solution. Just being there and listening is sometimes what it takes.
Yes, more being, less doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that saying. I use that one a lot, but it's so true.
Pedro, can you share with us one thing that you're excited about that's going on now or that you're looking forward to in the future with regard to any of the things that we've talked about so far?
Yes. So I have been I've been manifesting doing like holding space on a yoga retreat. I did one a year ago in Tulum in 2018, and I wasn't going to do one this year. And then Hargobind and I connected. He's been building this Casa on Potomac, or however you pronounce it, on Facebook. I've been watching it for like a year, and I texted him the other day. We got on the phone, and I'm pretty confident it's going to happen. And when I was talking to him, he's like, I'm like, who's coming? Because he had just opened it. I was on the phone with him yesterday, I think. And he had, there's only been one group that's come so far. He said, well, Henry Winslow's bringing a group. And I said, oh my gosh, like the universe has brought all of this together for me. Because I talked to Henry the other day, who I had never known before. And now I'm on the phone with you, and you guys know each other. And then I listened to the podcast you did with him, and it was like everything was like coming together for me, like in the last like 3 days, like just like right in front of my face.
That's incredible.
That was a really powerful shift. So I really appreciate you holding space and opening that door for me by sending me a message on Instagram a couple days ago or a week ago, whatever it was. Thank you so much, because that has really, been powerful. That one laughing face emoji that you send me, look how much has changed since you sent me that. Crazy.
That is crazy and really cool. Yeah. And for the listeners, Hargobind is an amazing yoga teacher and entrepreneur himself. He was the first episode of Dharma Talk. You should definitely go check that out and see all the cool stuff that he's building and doing. So Pedro, are you gonna do a retreat at Casa on Potomac?
I'm pretty confident I'm gonna do it the first week in June. I haven't there's nothing official yet. And he was when we were talking, he's like, I don't even have like a website yet. I'm like, we don't need like a website. Like I know that you have the goods, So I just need to tell my people about it and like, let's do this thing. But yeah, I'm like, I would say like 90%, 95% sure that's gonna happen. That's gonna go down. So. Yeah, it looks beautiful. I mean, I watched it. I literally watched it I'm not a big Facebooker, but every time, like, I happen to always like his posts, and Facebook keeps showing, and just like Instagram, they'll keep showing you the things you like. And I think every time I opened it, like, there was more work being done at Casa on Potomac.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Facebook and Instagram really like to thicken the walls of your bubble. They do that.
So good. Yes, I'm pretty confident that's going to happen. Yeah. Oh, they definitely do that. 100%.
But I gotta
yeah,
say,
I'm looking forward to making that happen.
what Hargaben did there was really brilliant with like taking us all behind the scenes of creating that place. Like I felt so emotionally invested throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, he could have been doing that behind closed doors and just had a big reveal of a perfect space, but instead by being raw and talking about all of like the decisions he was making and the challenges he was facing, it made it feel very human and relatable, just like what we've been talking about this morning.
Yeah, totally. And that's why I want to go there. I'm assuming that's why you want to go there.
Yeah. And also I've been to the original Casa Om as a retreat guest a couple of times. And I know that Hargaben just makes it really special. So I wanted to work with him in some sort of partnership like that for a while. And I think it will be a really cool treat for a lot of people.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I didn't know that you had been to the one in Mexico. Very cool. I went to Tulum instead, or not instead of his place. I just chose to go to Tulum, and that was cool. Like it was cool to go to Mexico and do a retreat, and then now I'm doing Italy in 2020 in June of 2020. I was just gonna do that, but this has kind of been put on my plate. The universe is definitely talking to me and telling me to go here, so. I'm pretty 95. I'm 100% going. I'm going. You know what, Henry? I'm going.
Decided.
It's happening. I just decided. I'm going. It's happening. I'm taking a group. We're going the first week or second week of June. It's in. You know, Hargaben, if you're listening, I already signed the paper. I'm going.
Yeah. Y'all, Dharma Talk community, you heard it here first. Hop on, get involved. Go to my retreat. Go to Pedro's retreat. Just move into Casa Om Potomac.
Yeah. Just moving to Casa Om Potomac. Oh my God, so good.
All right, you know what? I think now is the perfect time to move into the final section of our interview. This is what I call the prana round, and we're going to just hit 6 rapid fire questions really quick. I ask you to answer minimum 1 word, maximum 1 sentence. Okay?
Ready.
All right. In 1 word, why do you practice yoga?
Oh, geez. Fun.
Nice. I haven't heard that one yet, and it seems very appropriate. What's your favorite yoga pose and why?
Oh, I love Happy Baby. Feels great for the hips.
What is the single best cue or piece of advice that you've ever received from a teacher?
Cut the shit and just do it.
Okay, recommend 1 book, either modern or ancient, for our audience.
You Are the Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Life-changing.
All right. Is yoga for everyone?
100%. It was in the opening thing that you read today. Everyone.
Okay, final question. How can our audience get in touch with you, and how can we support you in your Dharma?
Appreciate that. So yogawithpedro.com. I made that website a few months ago, and I was so excited to have a website. I wanted to have one for so long, and I knew I needed it. So yogawithpedro.com has all the information about me and what I have going on through yogi memes, retreats, whatever there. And then on Instagram at yogi memes is the funniest, most hilarious thing you might see today, and hopefully it brings a little bit of joy to your life. So those 2 platforms, you can find everything about me that you'd ever want to know on the internet.
And more. Pedro, thank you so much for hopping on the call this morning and chatting with me. I'm really happy that we got to meet and I could put a voice and name behind this hilarious account that I've been following. Dharma Talk listeners, I'm sure will be happy to connect with you. So thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot. It means so much. Appreciate you so much, Henry. Thank you.
Hey, Dharma Talk community. If you enjoyed this podcast and you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button right now. And if you'd like to show your support even more, leave me an honest review on iTunes or whatever podcast directory you listen on. You can also make a financial contribution to keep the show up and running, a donation at henrywins.com. And remember, I'm here to serve you. So if you have any questions or comments or ideas, you can always reach me on Instagram at henrywins. Otherwise, I'll speak to you next week. Keep living your Dharma.